Good evening, all, and welcome to the zoo. The minions with me this evening are Useless,
Hello, how goes it?
Camel,
Hello, chat.
Adam,
Good evening.
and eventually we'll be joined by Sora Luna, but she might be up to about 30 minutes late. So
Yeah,
we'll
she has a
see
real
when
job.
she gets here. Yeah, she just clocked not terribly long ago and is getting done all her normal after work requirements. But yes, how are all of you doing this evening?
Alive and kicking.
Always better than the alternative.
Right now, I'm playing Russian roulette with my weed, so I don't know if I grabbed an indica or a sativa. So we're gonna see how this plays out.
Oh shit, yo, dude. This whole time because I bought, I can't remember. It was a couple of weeks ago. I bought two different strands. One was wedding cake, and the other one was like mush mouth or something like that. Mondo
Hmm.
mouth. I can't remember what it's called, but this Mondo mouth. Holy shit. Using the wedding cake the this whole time, and it's type of high. It tastes nice, but whatever this mushmouth stuff is, holy fuck, dude!
Knocks you out.
Oh wow, I'm and hey, you know me, and wow,
I have to assume like that mush mouth is probably an indica.
is indica the one that
That's
kind
the
of
couch weed.
Yeah.
couch weed?
Yeah, that's where you don't want to get up off the couch.
Okay, I don't know. You know what's funny though is on the New Year's stream, um, I had mixed it. I mixed that with the wedding cake and another one, um,
Ah,
and we smoked a joint. So uh, when uh, when you hear quiz after that, that's him. After yeah, we tried a bowl of it at first, and then they were
mhm.
like, all the people were like, "Holy shit!" and then, so I don't quite remember how they were after the joint, but yeah, no, yeah, this stuff is pretty good. It's
I
great.
actually grow my own. I got some purple rock candy.
Wait,
That sounds
you're
good.
growing?
Yeah. Oh, I live in California. I'm allowed to two plants per household member.
Are you doing indoor or outdoor?
I have a greenhouse,
Cool.
so it's kind of both.
Nice.
Well, I mean that
See,
would be the way to go, man. You could
Yeah.
better control like the humidity and airflow and whatnot.
Yeah.
see, I'm the most straight laced when it comes to that.
Yes, so
I
you
do
could
not,
drink.
nor have I ever.
You could drink
Imbibed.
me under the table, Sanguine, but I can
Oh yeah,
smoke you under it, quick, fast, and in a hurry.
most like, especially since I have the nasty habit of being a canary to inhaled chemicals.
Hold on, can you smoke someone under a table?
I've smoked somebody out of their chair before; they just fell over. Yeah. And Assassin, anytime that Adam and I are on a stream together, it ends up being a marijuana episode.
Hey,
I'm just stating facts here, Adam.
I don't know. I think that's a brown comment. Racism. Oh, I'm sorry. I hit the soundboard a little too early.
No, I was just saying that when you and I are on a stream together, one of us is smoking.
Oh well, dude, come on. Hey, did you read the news? Bloomberg reported it.
Oh yeah. Smoking weed could help you not get the coof.
Yeah, it prevents the spike proteins. And you know what?
Yeah,
You want to know my secret, Cap? I'm always high.
I saw that article as well as the articles that keep on popping up from various newspapers of study finds men who wear masks are found more attractive. And I'm just
Okay.
going, you pieces of shit. You're
No, hold
really
on.
I
starting
mean-
Hold
desperate.
on. That there is some truth to that because I was at the store today and I was buying something and the girl, she was really really nice looking lady. She gave me extra chicken wings, okay, and she was twirling her hair. I was wearing my mask. Look, I don't know. There's no correlation, compensation type of stuff going on right now, but I can honestly say, I think I got those extra wings because she was like, "Yo, look at that,
See,
look at
I'm
that
going to
dude
feel like
in
a
the
dick for
mask."
saying this now, but it
Don't
has
do it.
nothing to
Don't-
do.
don't-
It has
don't
nothing to do with the anecdote you just provided. I was going to say this regardless because of what Sanguine said.
Don't crush my dreams.
All that tells me is that study shows butterfaces exist,
Or possibly rather than just
and it's
plain up
not
butterfaces.
exclusive to the females of the species.
Yeah,
Oh,
and it might
man.
not be just the run-of-the-mill butterfaces. It might be studies show men from the eyes down ugly as sin. Because if
Wait,
it's
what?
from the eyes down, ugly as sin. So if you
Yeah,
cover
but what's the other part? Oh, isn't there another part? Like, but women eyes up
Well,
are.
Well, okay,
you know,
guys.
no, there's
or
not
something like
another part.
Oh, okay. Well, what the?
Just
I
the men
feel
eyes down are ugly as sin. So you cover up just below the eyes like a mask does, and you hide all the ugly of the face.
there is a disclaimer to be made here. Hammer put it in chat. The article said marijuana may help prevent, but it is not peer reviewed. Minions of the Zoo has no comment on the effectiveness of weed in that regard.
Oh, get out of
Susan.
here, Hammer. Hammer's only saying that because he's the one who got everybody.
it's fine. It
I
happens.
mean, it's understandable. Be a little gun shy after that, cover your
Get out of here.
bases.
It's ridiculous, though, that you can get
And-
caught for citing articles in the mainstream media that there's news clips.
Hold on, but that
Talking
was
about the
that was
articles
CNN.
on-
This was Bloomberg.
And
think they're a
I
little bit
for
more
one, am
lenient.
more than willing to peer review that study. I will get my lab coat. I'll get a clipboard.
I'm studying right now. I am on the job.
I will put Adam in the control group, and
Yeah, I'm gonna be
Wait,
the
control
guy.
group means that he doesn't get any weed.
Oh no!
Thanks for giving it
don't
away,
do that.
Sanguine.
No, don't do
I
that.
actually used to have a lab coat back in high school I bought from the thrift store.
I have 2 of them in my closet because I
Oh.
needed them.
Well, yeah, I just did it for fun.
I got a stethoscope I nicked from the hospital when Grandma was up there.
I have
Well,
3 of those
I didn't-
because I needed those.
Full disclosure, it's not considered theft. They told us, aside from the actual medical equipment, take anything that's in the room because it's just going to get thrown away anyway.
Really?
Well,
Yeah.
the stethoscope is medical equipment, though.
Hey, so
It
how
wasn't
much-
nailed down, Sanguine.
How much?
It wasn't plugged into a wall. It wasn't nailed down.
Nor
I'm
was
counting
the
it.
wheel in BP and Pulsock system that
They were plugged in, though, so I considered that, nailed down.
Yeah, all you have to do is unplug it and it's perfectly fine. You wheel it from room to room.
Yeah, but then I got nurses and orderlies and whatnot asking me questions. They're not doing that with a stethoscope in a bag.
They're just
So you
trying
need
to
it
figure
for a
out
while,
where the fuck did that go?
Oh.
Especially if you got, what is it, the Cardiac 3? If you stole a Cardiac 3, there's one nurse out there who's just going, where the fuck did my goddamn Cardiac 3 go?
Well, no, what's funny is I saw somebody on Twitter earlier today, yesterday, I can't remember exactly when, sometime this week. They're saying about their experience of getting out of the hospital, and I don't know where they were located, but apparently, like the nurse, when they were discharging her, they didn't take her IV out.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody took her IV out, and so she went home and looked up a YouTube video, did it herself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my god, did you go to St. John's too?
I did an MRI last week, and I was on my back for 30 minutes, and I was so much pain. It's crazy.
And I did remember the type right. It is the Cardiac 3 that is.
Is that an old one or a new one?
The Cardiac 3 is a stethoscope that the cheap Cardiac 3s go for over $150.
Oy.
The expensive Cardiac 3s are just shy of $400. Yeah, they're extremely sensitive stethoscopes that are just able to pick up shit amazingly. So they become like EMS and healthcare gold, damn near. And you will find EMTs get pissed off if they lose their cardiac 3. You'll find nurses that just go into a rage when they realize that that bitch over on this floor must have stolen my cardiac 3.
Yeah, it's pretty pricey though for one of those things.
Oh yeah, especially since you can go for a shitty one for like $25. But
But
yeah,
you want the good
those-
ones though.
Oh yeah, like I said, cardiac 3 is damn near the Cadillac of stethoscopes. And by Cadillac of stethoscopes, I mean old school Cadillac, where it used to mean something, not the modern Cadillac, where
Yeah, with the old ones you got shag carpet in it, you know.
yeah, they used to be known for
Shag
luxury.
carpet? No. I was
Some fuzzy dice, a couple of
I can't-
airbags.
No. I kind of got what Sanguine was going with. You know, there's the classics, and you know, and
Hey
around
man, fuzzy dice is classic.
Well,
Yeah.
hold on, and then around the early '90s, maybe they did the whole, you know, the Cadillacs enhanced, you know, with the whole lowrider type of stuff. But that's, you know, that was just kind of, I don't know. Is Cadillac is still a high class name, you know?
Well,
I
depending on
think
the car.
it's fallen out of its prestige category.
I would
Yeah,
say
it's
all of them
not
have.
as prestigious as it used to be.
Yeah. It used
But-
to be a thing where if someone had a Cadillac, that was, oh shit, yeah, that got a
and
Cadillac.
even and it's not even that far back either. I mean, remember when like the 2000s, like all the rappers and sports stars were riding around in Escalades.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the bigger ones. Like when everybody was going SUVs.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh wait. Oh. We're out of time.
Does anyone have any topics that they want to launch into, get off their chest or anything like that? Or shall I pull up a couple articles that I saw that I was just going, what the fuck?
Let's see what you got, man, because I'm just gonna ramble if left to my own devices.
I was just
Okay,
gonna say,
well-
I used to watch G4 as a kid, and I'm like, oh, that's why they died.
I never watched G4. I mean, I think I had the channel on like my TV package, but
Mhm.
I liked playing video games. I didn't like
Yeah.
listening to people talk about video games. You know?
Shit. You know what? Here's the thing. Talking about the G4, I have like constructed a whole rant about it. So just let me know the difficulty level you want to go with that. Okay.
Like I mean, there's very few people I'll watch doing like video game streams or anything either. Like I'll watch Monkey with his 7 days streams and whatnot because I play 7 days and I like Monkey, but I don't really, you know, there's been some like some videos I've seen that were funny, like Soviet Womble doing Arma 3 streams or gameplay,
Yep.
like him and his buddies. That was entertaining.
And that's all the editing that he does. Those
Yeah.
videos, he puts a fuck ton of effort into.
Oh yeah. And
Meanwhile, he's just shitting it up in game. But when he's editing his video, he's splicing shit in. He is really pulling out all the stops and then just cheesing everything in game. It is hilarious.
which I
Well,
should
well,
actually
not-
check up
not
on that
just-
dude. I haven't seen any of his stuff in a while.
Not just the editing, but I would also say I see somebody like Aiden Paladin who you know, she shows up all the script that she fucking worked out for her shows, and it's like, Yeah, exactly. You know, like because I'm looking at a lot of these things, and you know, in my mind I'm constructing a whole fucking argument.
Wait, does Aiden do game streams?
No, no, no. Well, she in terms
Oh,
of
He's just
okay.
talking about in-depth streams in general, I think,
yeah,
and high production quality.
yeah.
Okay, so
And the
we're off on a
lengths that
tangent.
some of
I
these
got you.
people go, yeah, and then it goes like it makes sense to do that, but like I mean that's work, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Shit, I still
All
got
my
to
cooking
find
videos are
stuff.
done off the cuff. I don't even write down what I'm gonna say.
Well, hey, you know, more power to you guys. However, you guys do what you guys do. God bless you. Do it.
I'm so off the cuff. I let other people host the streams. I don't even
No, yeah.
plan my own. You know.
Hey. You know. Oh shit. Is it the brown? I was about to say it's the brown white. Let's just leech on to the fucking white man's fucking show.
So what you're saying is you two are just piggybacking off the white man's back,
I wouldn't say piggybacking. More
once
so riding
again,
on
putting
coattails,
all the
but go ahead.
stress on the Irish. And
Nah, I do it to Johnny too. I'm an equal opportunity offender.
Hey, you know
Okay.
what?
I'm just spooning.
I'd also hope that
I've been on Six's streams too, and he's like Mexican. You know, like equal opportunity. Yeah.
that makes sense with the six.
Well, I mean, at the very least, he's a Texan.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
So
Hey, you know what? I'm a Texan. My family is Texans.
Yeah,
And not Tejano. We're Texans. And that's
but
pretty
yet
different.
you live in
he came into
Chicago,
chat saying
as-
"Bienvenidos." I mean,
And as we all
Yeah, they speak
learned
Spanish.
ages ago, Chicagans aren't even Americans.
Hey, get out of here.
Well, it's MAGA country down there. You haven't heard?
Well, that's Irish country there. It's the Emerald City.
It's goddamn deep lore at this point, and I'm not even going to explain it to anyone. I'm just going to drop that there.
I mean,
One that does not know the origin, going, Chicagans aren't Americans? What the
considering the movie The Untouchables, I just figured they were Scottish.
fuck?
So
Well, you know, there's a lot of stuff down there.
But it sounded like you wanted to do a G4 rant, Adam.
A what?
It sounded like you wanted to do a G4 rant.
Oh, I'm just
Oh,
find it funny how they fell, you know. And Adam Sessler blocked me today for saying his creepy pillow was creepy.
dude, I
Which
really
is
want to.
funny.
You know.
okay, for the
I wanna
uninitiated
get
like
blocked.
myself, he was on the original G4, right?
Yeah, he was
so
on the
Adam
show.
Sessler was on X-Play.
Yeah.
Fucking
Which-
Adam ruins everything.
Wait, I thought that was a different Adam.
No, that's a
Yeah.
different
No,
Adam.
son of a bitch. You're ruining my
Adam
name.
Sessler is a different Adam than the Adam ruins everything Adam, and they're both a different Adam than our Adam.
The Adam ruins
But-
everything. What's that guy's last
Adam.
name? He was on Rogan with the whole trans thing, and
Ah,
he just got embarrassed. And after that, I didn't hear, because I used to see like the people doing reaction videos to Adam ruins everything, and whatnot, right?
yeah.
I have not
And then-
seen a frame of his content since he went on Rogan. It's like the dude just dropped off the earth.
No,
Yeah,
I think he
because-
did like one or two videos after that. But then yeah, it didn't go anywhere. I
Does
don't
it
think.
start with a K or a C, or am I thinking of that dude on Timcast?
I'm pulling.
That's
it up
another
right
Adam, isn't it?
now. I thought, wasn't that one of the Andes?
Is it Kriegler?
Conover. It's
Oh, that yeah, that's the Adam Conover was Adam ruins everything.
Yep. But Adam Sessler was one of the co-hosts of X-Play,
Yeah.
which was one of the shows that actually survived in the transition of Tech TV to G4.
Yeah, because I
So-
used to watch before it became G4. I used to watch, a bunch of tech shows.
Yeah, you used to watch the old school Tech TV days.
Yeah.
And that had a fairly sizable fan base because people were interested in tech, and it was a place that you could actually go and get. It was. You guys all know Linus Tech Tips, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
It
I've
had-
heard the name. I've heard of the person. I've not actually watched any of their videos.
It's a YouTube tech channel. That,
Yeah. I'm aware of the content.
Okay.
I just haven't gone and watched any of it.
Yep. And Tech TV had a bunch of shows that were effectively Linus Tech Tips before Linus Tech Tips.
Yeah.
Ah,
One of their main ones was the screensavers.
Yeah, they brought that back on YouTube back in 2016, 2015,
Oh, they
I think. But they died off too.
Yeah, I didn't even hear about it, which is a shame because the
Yeah.
screensavers were great when they were around.
Yeah.
But Tech TV started out as mainly tech and video gaming. So they had a bunch of shows about the newest games coming out, like X Play. And Sora Luna just hopped in back. Hello, Sora.
Hey, Sora.
Hello.
So there was a lot of gaming shows like X Play, and Arena was one of their other really early gaming shows, which Arena was kind of like fledgling esports.
Yeah.
And then they also had a bunch of just straight up tech shows where it was, okay, this new processor's coming out. How does it stack up against all the current generations? And this new motherboard came out. How does this work? Is there any special feature in this thing or in that thing? And new security cameras, shit like that. It would just talk about anything tech related. From security to gaming rigs to insert random electronic device here.
BBC
And
has
that was-
had a fun one like that. I don't know if they
Oh, they
still.
Yeah, but they killed screensavers in G4 because the owner of G4 didn't like them. So
Yeah, they killed screensavers once Tech TV went over to being G4.
yeah.
They pretty much got rid of every tech-centric show. They kept some of the gaming shows, but even a lot of those were killed.
Yeah.
X-Play managed to make it through.
Well, they became the attack of the show.
No, X-Play didn't become Attack of the Show. Attack of the
didn't?
Show was its own thing that popped up. Because X-Play and Attack of the Show ran concurrently.
Oh, okay. Like I said, I didn't really watch G4 era.
Yeah, Attack of the Show popped up, and it was the nerd culture late night show was effectively what they were trying to bill it as.
All right, see, that's where I need to. Can I at least? I've been trying to like.
Jump in. I've been waiting for you to jump in. I'm just
Well-
giving back detail because
Well, no, because I've been congealing this entire fucking notion for a long while,
did you
and
use pectin or gelatin?
Agar.
Agar as well.
No, get out.
knowing Adam, he
No.
probably used resin.
You know what?
Or just collagen?
I had to. It was right there.
It
Okay,
wasn't
right there.
stuck in the wall over on the left side. You missed it. But hold on. Okay, so the shit. Now I'm just thinking about it. Fucking damn it.
I told you I'd ramble if left
Damn
to my
it!
devices.
No,
Lost his
seriously.
place.
Okay,
The topic
so
was G4. Adam?
Did I seriously just put the kibosh on that whole rant? I am sorry.
no, I'm sorry. My that's it. Worked out. Well, is it G4?
Yes, G4 was G4 Tech TV. That was what the premise of the rant was originally going to
You
be.
had it all congealing for
You were
some unknown
congealing
period of
it?
time.
Oh God. Okay. Right. Okay. So it's like it splits into two parts because it's one part. It's how gaming kind of grew, and you look at it as like from the arcades to the home console, and then growth from there, and then you look at it as how it got its identity, and the identity is a lot. I mean, a majority from marketing. Like
Mm-hmm.
when we're sitting there looking at like the PlayStation era, why was it looking at big bombs and big boobs and shit? It was because marketing.
Because
Like
tits up.
well, yeah, they sell, yeah, it was sold, but but the thing is, like even now we're looking at it, and then it got into e-games and esports, and who the fuck, people were doing these things on their own in local servers. Like
Mm-hmm.
I remember playing this shit in Day of Defeat, uh,
Yep.
Half-Life servers. People were doing this shit in Quake servers, in Doom servers. We had our own shit going. Those were the gamers. Those were the people who
Mm-hmm.
were fucking playing these games. And then all of a sudden, we're sitting here. I'm supposed to be interested in five numbnuts who are sitting there fucking playing Fortnite, and like, what the fuck? Why? What is this? Why is this important? That's the corporate part that is saying, "Hey, this is gamers." No, that's not. Who the fuck is that? And that's why when this G4 shit came out, and they're sitting there like, "Hey, you know what? Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you about sexism." Like, dude, at this point, at this point, the walls have fucking been battered.
And it's
At what point do we fucking sit there and say like, yeah, dude, they have been shelling us nonstop with this nonsense? This is bullshit. Like with this, what they're saying is nonsense. Like,
and it's
okay,
again one of those instances like the shock comedians that are now trying to pull up the ladders that they use to get to where they are, and are going, well, you can't say that anymore. That isn't allowed. Why are you making jokes about that topic? And you're going, is this you in blackface? Like, this is.
How
What the
many
fuck are you
instances?
talking about?
How many instances of this shit has to go on before you sit there like, okay, yeah, yeah. We should just, when somebody sits there and says, "Hey, fucking," say, "Shut the fuck up, shut up." Like, what the fuck? like, I don't understand it.
Yeah, destroy the game,
It's, well, no, to me, it's all been, it's been spread wide open, and at this point, I'm sitting there like, I'm surprised you are still wearing that mask.
Yeah, and there was a video that Short Fat Otaku did not terribly long ago that's really good, and it was why gatekeeping is good, effectively.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was not his last video, the one before that. And
No. Yeah.
I'd only got like halfway through it.
Yep, and he's going through, okay, this is what happened in each of these communities. And this is what gatekeeping was there to try to prevent. Gatekeeping is an important thing because when you end up just allowing anyone into a group, a subculture, whatever, it loses that unique aspect of what it was, because it just keeps on pulling away the necessary features. It used to be that, yeah, anyone could play video games, and anyone can play video games. But gamers weren't just people that played video games. Gamers were people that loved video games and loved playing them, loved talking about them, loved going in and finding weird exploits and shit like that in games. They would, it's kind of like spurred interest You had to be interested in gaming to about the level of, are you a spurg, in order to be considered a gamer, because that was what that word meant. It didn't just mean someone who played games. It meant someone who was completely enthralled by games.
Yeah, like that's why I never called myself a gamer. I enjoy video games. I like playing them. You know, plenty of different genres and whatnot. But I'm not that obsessive about it.
Yep.
Whereas, like, you know, when I was growing up, I was completely obsessed with movies.
Yep.
You know,
So you
I
probably
one,
called yourself a
hold on,
movie
hold on.
buff.
exactly, yeah.
My thing is that being called term a gamer is something that they crafted, you know, the corporations themselves, because again, it was such a new startup, you know, like it's video games. There was a low population going about it. It started up with the corporations trying to market people to draw into it. So when
I
people say that you're a gamer, it's like, dude, you yeah, well, I mean, as long as you play games, you're a gamer. But what they want you to believe is you're only a gamer if you're doing, you know, you're floating around the same type of things that the marketing wants you to do.
see.
And
I disagree with what you just said, because to me, gamer was not something that originated from the industries. It was something that originated from the people, and then the industries went, we can use this. And they started then changing gamer and trying to market to gamers.
Let's be honest.
Whereas,
Calling it a gamer is just a marketing ploy instead of calling them video game nerds. You know,
well, I mean, yeah, I look at it like, you know, whoever's enjoying playing games, somebody who enjoys playing chess and would have no problem watching somebody like a chess tournament, you know, like that's still a gamer right alongside somebody who wants to watch people who play Fortnite. You know, I
see,
just
I'd again disagree, because that's expanding the word to the point where it's useless. Because by that meaning, everyone alive is a gamer. There is not a soul on earth that is not a gamer by that definition. Which means that it's a completely superfluous word. It has no true meaning, because it means everyone.
We're not all playing in the game of life, though.
well, wait, hold on. It- How are we using this word? Because at that point, like if I'm referencing a gamer, I'm
well,
referencing somebody like you would. Well, yeah. Because I guess you would. If I say, yeah, my friend, he's a gamer, you would expect that their mindset would go to somebody who plays either computer games or console games, right? You
yeah,
know?
I'm not thinking of a chess
Yep.
grandmaster when you say your friend's a gamer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you need to have a defining boundary in order for the word to actually mean something. So when it came to gamer, the way that I knew gamer when I was younger was, it wasn't just people that like playing games. It was people that their passion was playing games. If you just liked playing this game or that game, like you would enjoy playing Mario occasionally, you weren't called a gamer. You were just someone who liked playing Mario occasionally. If you were the sort of person that would be talking about, you know, that there's this exploit in Mario that if you do this and you do that, then you can end up skipping this entire section and you would get to this. And did you know this about the creation team behind Mario? And did you know this about the inspiration behind Mario? Then yeah, you would end up becoming a gamer. And it was the people that had that borderline obsessive interest in games that were gamers. If you just enjoyed playing a game, you were just a standard fucking person. because everyone enjoys some sort of game. Not necessarily an electronic game, but everyone enjoys some sort of game, and the vast majority of people will enjoy some sort of electronic game. So
Well, hold on now. Are we trying to attribute a pejorative to the term gamer?
it's not a pejorative. It's a
I don't want it to be a
statement.
pejorative. I don't want it to have any sort of attribution. I want it to be lightweight. Let's get it, Jenny Craig.
It is not a
That was a horrible
pejorative to actually identify a group that does something.
I know. No, it's just one of those things where it's like, I think the context matters.
To my mind, like I said, in order for gamer to have any meaning at all, it has to be defining a specific group. And people that occasionally like playing a game is not a specific group. People that love playing games, yeah, they're more a specific group. People that are obsessed with games, yeah, they're absolutely a specific group. And the problem is that we just kept on having this watering down of not just gamer, but this happens with goddamn scores of different words where they just keep on getting broadened out and broadened out and broadened out to the point where they mean fucking nothing. Because you have this with gamer, where gamer went from people that had that almost obsessive interest in games to, do you like playing Candy Crush every now and then on your phone? Looks like you're a gamer. And you had that with, this is something that the furries ended up going through as well. Because it used to be that if you were a furry, you had an interest in anthropomorphic animals. They could be more toony anthropomorphic animals. They can be less cartoony anthropomorphic animals, but you had to be interested in anthropomorphic animals. A lot of the furry cons ended up getting completely overrun by people that had no interest in the anthropomorphic animals and were instead cross-dressers or the politically gay or communist or insert other group here, because they got in while saying, well, you guys were always judged for what you were interested in, so why are you judging me for what I'm interested in?
Yeah.
I should be accepted here. And the furries were going, well, okay, yeah, it does suck to be judged for what you're into, so welcome to the convention, I guess? When they should have gone, no, we aren't judging you for what you're into. We're just saying that doesn't make you a furry. Are you interested in anthropomorphic animals? If so, congratulations, you're a furry. If not, you're something else.
Not a degenerate.
There's a bunch of different things that this happened to, though, because you had that with, like I said, gamers. You had that with furries. You had that with people from various fandoms for different TV shows. The Whovians ended up becoming riddled with this as well. Where oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up Super Hulock.
It took me a second to realize that we were talking Doctor Who, and my mind went straight to the Grinch. I was like, wait, there was a fandom for Whoville?
Oh, I'm willing to bet that there were also.
Oh, I'm the Grinch
Whovillians.
has a fan base.
They should be called the Whovillians rather than the
Who's of Whoville. Whovillians.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you have this happen in the Whovian fandom because you had people that just really liked Doctor Who. And they liked the things that were happening in Doctor Who. They liked the storylines that would be told in Doctor Who. And they wanted more things within that vein They wanted a continuation of that, where, yeah, the individual stories would change this way or that way, but the heart would stay the same. And you had a bunch of people that came into the fandom and went, well, this is a really nice fandom that you have here, and this is a really popular show, but it needs more women, it needs more gays, it needs more this, it needs to be more anti-capitalist, it needs to stop focusing on this white male lead, and it needs to be about diverse stories from diverse perspectives. And whatever the fuck that is, it isn't Doctor Who. Because the moment that you start saying that it needs to stop focusing on Doctor Who and it needs to change the lore of Doctor Who, yeah, you aren't
It's
interested
not Doctor
in Doctor Who.
Make your own movie or TV series.
Yeah. And this just keeps on happening again and again. You have, what was the example that was from a few years ago? I think it was a knitting group. A fucking knitting group.
Wait, is this the whole Karlin Borisenko thing?
Are you talking about who was it that did the video on this ages ago? Where I think they reference Karlin Borisenko. And yes, it is effectively the getting in and changing everything by being subversive about this shit. Where they claim membership to a community so that they can get positions within that community and then destroy the community from the inside.
This is why I've always kind of followed the Groucho Marx philosophy. You know, don't join any club that would have you as a member.
I was really worried that you were going to say his other policy of I like my
Shooting an
cigar,
elephant in his
pull it
underpants.
out.
I like the Groucho Marx bit.
You guys do know that line from Groucho Marx, right? I like my
Yeah.
cigar too, but I know when to pull it out.
It wouldn't be here if it wasn't. Come on, man. Yeah.
Apparently, him and Alice Cooper were friends. I would love to be a fly on that wall.
No, probably not.
No, actually, I think I would. Groucho, because it was when Groucho Marx was, in his later years, like
It's
Alice Cooper
weird
would
to-
go over to his. Weird to think that they're like they lived at the same
Contemporaries?
time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a thing that popped up to general knowledge ages ago that there was a massive meltdown in a knitting group where this one woman was being called a bigot because she didn't want to talk about Trump in her knitting group.
I mean, that's part of the reason why I left Facebook. Was it wasn't Trump. It was actually before he even announced. It was Hillary. People were already bitching about Hillary. And I was like, I don't want to hear this for another year and a half. And so I just I didn't delete my account, but I just stopped showing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's people keep on getting into different communities, and they don't actually have any fucking interest in the community that they're getting into. They just want to get in and then warp the community to their ends. And that's kind of what happened with G4. Because G4, early days, back when it was Tech TV, it was a channel for tech and game nerds.
Mm-hmm.
That's the entire point of Tech TV.
Hold on. Just remember that was the arrowhead, but the person who was pulling the strings were a bunch of suits around the table. I mean,
And they mainstreamed it, made some money off of it.
Yeah, they don't have any fucking idea. They were just like, yeah, what are these kids like? Yeah, Mountain Dew and fucking titties and fucking explosions. Just put those up there, and let's have some of these models go out there and eat hot dogs and fucking.
Well,
the thing is that you're
shit.
talking about the later executive. And yeah, when you have second and third generation executives, and by that I mean the second or third time that they've been an executive of something, they don't really have a passion for what they're doing. They just have a proven ability to make money.
I think it goes back to a Frank Zappa quote. He was talking about the difference between like the old school music executives. I think this was around like the 90s, like around like the breakout of grunge and whatnot. He's like, the problem wasn't like those old guys, sitting in those smoky rooms with the cigars and whatnot. Like you could actually work with them because they were just worried about what sells.
Yeah,
It was the new young executives coming in who were hip and cool and
gonna change the world.
Yeah, like those are the ones that tended to fuck you over more.
Hey, and both of these were part of the same fucking cabal that we're fucking dealing with now. Like this is the bullshit that we're fucking dealing with now.
I would say that first group is effectively aged out, and we're dealing with almost entirely that second group of we're going to change the world. We're going to make everything better. And those people, anytime that someone says, trust me, I'll make everything better, just give me that power, the proper response is no.
What was the Reagan line? Like the scariest words in the English language. I'm from the government. I'm here to help.
Yes.
It's not just government. Anytime you hear somebody, government, business, whatever, when they tell you, it's like, hey man, trust me, I'll make it all work out for you. Yeah. That's a prelude to you getting fucked.
Yep. And anytime that they're, like I said, anytime someone says, give me this power and I'll make everything better, you should be really worried about that person. Because it has a proven track record of things getting much worse when someone says, give me the power, I'll make it better. The people that you want in positions of power are the ones that go, no, why are you trying to give me power? No, stop that. I don't want it. Fuck off. Leave me alone.
If nominated,
no.
I will not run. If elected, I will not serve.
Yeah. Those are the people that you want power. That was one of the amazing things. And it's one of the reasons why the U.S. was so much different than fucking every other country that tried to pull a U.S. Revolutionary War. A major difference was the person who we went, you're our leader, was trying to go, no, stop. I don't want to. Why are you giving me this? No. Become our king. Fuck no. Are you insane?
Just as a counterpoint, so we can be fair and balanced here on Minions of the Zoo, now that we're back to the main channel, I don't want to be your leader or anything like that, and you don't want me to be your leader, because I'll just fuck off. So It's not always 100% what Sanguine's saying.
No, it's not just that you want them not to want power, it's that you have to want them to have the power that they don't want.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't want to be a leader or anything like that, and you don't want me to either.
Yeah. You want the...
Don't just find some bum on the street that doesn't want to be president and try and make him into it. It's not going to work out.
You want the begrudging leader, which is why I think one of the worst things that we ever did as far as politics was we made it so that the person who is nominated has to say, yes, I will take on this responsibility. No, fuck that. If they get nominated by enough people, it should be a, well, shit. Rather than, no, I don't want to be in power. Choose someone else. No. You just had all these motherfuckers say that they want you in charge. You're stuck for a while. Because so many people that would be far better having the power that our current politicians do are the people that go, no, choose someone else.
Well, Sanguine, in chat, you've been nominated to be King Huzzah, so...
No, choose someone else.
King Huzzah? What is King Huzzah?
I think there's supposed to be like a comma there and like maybe an exclamation point after Huzzah. I could be mistaken, but I just thought it sounded funnier putting it all together.
Huzzah! Huzzah!
Excuse me.
Something that it used to be important to choose people that were good moral character. Now we have a bunch of people that are in power because they want to be in power. And they keep saying, well, if you give me more power, then everything will be fixed. They already have a fuck ton of power. They haven't fixed a goddamn thing with it. So why the hell would we go, oh, the problem is that you need more power in order to fix something, and if we give you more power, then not just will you fix the shit that you haven't fixed, but you'll fix everything? Well, why didn't you say earlier?
Well, I mean, it's starting to make a little bit more sense as to why they want to alter the type of history that they want to teach people. You know, because, we've gone through this before. We shouldn't be falling for it again.
And I've said it before.
Shit.
I'm willing to bet the last actual statesman that we had in office. Are you guys familiar with the old school distinction between a statesman and a politician?
I am not.
So the idea behind a statesman versus a politician is a politician is someone who gets authority, and they get authority so that they can have authority.
Okay.
And that is their goal. So they will lobby, they will promise, they will steal and cheat whatever the fuck is needed in order for them to get the position that they want.
Okay.
A statesman is kind of that second category that I was just talking about a second ago, where you have people going, okay, I don't want to fucking do this, but this shit needs to be done, so fuck it. This is what I'm doing. And they put the people that they led in the interest of the people that they are supposedly leading in front of their own interests.
Mm-hmm.
So, good example, of course, Washington. A lot of the founding fathers were really good examples of statesmen. And one of the really easy ways to tell that they were really good examples of statesmen is the moment that they could get away with it, they went, fuck this, I'm gone. I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going back to my fucking farm. And they didn't demand more power. They didn't demand more time. They didn't try to game the system in order to be set for life. They just went, okay, yeah, done, gone, bye. Leave me alone.
Hold
I
on.
just want a farm.
Hey, here's a hard take, and probably gonna cause some flack. I'd be surprised if it does. But would you say that General Robert E. Lee would be considered a statesman in some form?
Lee, probably, yeah.
I would say yes.
I mean, he was offered general of the Union Army from President Lincoln, and he refused and decided to.
If Virginia had joined the Union in the Civil War, I'm sure
He
he
would
probably
have
would have led the Union Army. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would consider him a statesman for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was wasn't he opposed to slavery as well?
He had mixed views, much like a lot of these people. Like that's the thing. You gotta remember, it was like a lot of these people were born into it, so it wasn't something that they were like, "Oh shit," And
he was somewhat of the mind that it is a repugnant thing, but it's a necessary thing for the time.
It was there. It was repugnant, but it was there.
Kind of where he was, but it was also at a time when. So, one thing that a lot of people go after the founding fathers for is a number of the founding fathers didn't free their slaves. Thing that people keep on forgetting. Well, there's a number that freed their slaves upon their deathbed, and people go after them because, well, why didn't they free them earlier? The laws kept on changing around this time. There were several that, they decided that they would free their slaves in life, and they freed their slaves in life. There were a number that wanted to free their slaves, and the laws changed saying, hey, yeah, you aren't allowed to free slaves except on your deathbed. So a bunch of them freed slaves on their deathbed. And then there was a period of time where it was, yeah, you just aren't allowed to free slaves. So
And
they did.
just think about it. Hold on, just think about it. You know, people want to talk about democracy and how we should, like, especially right now, we should push back the filibuster and all that shit. So you got to remember, at this point in time, if you're thinking about slavery, there was a lot more people who would have been okay with slavery without. So you got to remember that it's democracy. Greek style democracy, like, you know, like 51 over the, yeah, it is. It's not a good thing, you know. Like, I don't know why people cling to it, but it's like.
And the thing that baffles me about that is the people that are most gunning for we need to have a direct democracy are also the ones that claim everyone's racist. Wait,
Yep.
you want a direct democracy? Yes. Okay, so do you think that white people are non-racist, anti-racist, or racist? They're racist. You do realize that the majority of people in the United States are currently white. Yeah, and that's a problem. But you said that you want a direct democracy. Yes, we should have one person, one vote, does not matter, and whatever they vote should go.
So you kiss away all your wants then.
You think that they're all racist?
Yeah.
It's kind of like these are the same people that say the only people that have guns are police officers. By the way, all police officers are racist. So you only want racists to have guns? What the fuck are you talking about? But as I was saying, the last person that I can easily say was more on the side of the statesman end of the statesman versus politician equation was a man who got gunned down at Jonestown. Because there was a sitting congressman.
Oh, I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, he was a sitting congressman that his constituents had a number of their family members go to Jonestown. And he got requests from his constituents saying, there's something really weird going down here. Can you please look into this? And the man's response was not only yes, but I will go myself. And he went and he saw what was going down. And as he was there, a couple people slipped notes to him saying, please get me out of here. So he said that he was going to be leaving, and anyone that wanted to leave could come with him, and demanded that they be allowed to leave if they so choose. And for his trouble, he got shot. He was murdered by a number of the Jonestown goons, and Jesse Ventura was not a statesman by any stretch of the imagination. His governorship was not exactly a bright point of Minnesota history.
Let me tell you about DARPA.
Yeah. And I'm not sure.
That sounded more Macho Man than the body, Adam.
Yeah, it did sound a bit Macho Man.
Hey, you know what? Let me critique you on our. You know, okay, I can't do it. I can't. You know,
no, like I can't do a Jesse Ventura impression either, but there's a bit of a lisp there towards the end, you know, of his words.
Well, didn't Mean Gene pass away today?
No, like 3 years ago. Yahoo just posted the story today because they're Johnny on the spot when it comes to news.
What do they do?
Oh,
Wait, they just posted a 3-year-old obituary?
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah, just
Colleen
time.
Bernier posted it on Twitter today, and everyone thought that, you know, she didn't realize she was posting something that was old, and that's the whole reason why she was posting it. It's like, yeah, this story's 3 years old. I know it. I know that when I'm posting it.
Yeah, I was looking through it and I was like, wait, what? What the fuck?
But yeah, like I said, we need to go back to having statesmen. We need to go back to having people actually kind of gatekeep their communities, but gatekeep their communities in a meritorious fashion, where it's being gatekept just to make sure that people that are actually interested in what their community is about are the people that are part of the community. And when people try to go, well, your community, you have a really nice community about this cartoon series, but it should really be about communism. The proper response is, fuck off, commie.
Yeah.
Not, well, it would be wrong to say that you can't be part of our community. So, welcome. No, the proper response is, fuck off, commie.
Mm-hmm.
Since we're on the subject of telling people to fuck off, do you guys see Ethan Klein's tweet today about Jordan Peterson?
Yeah.
Oh God, no! What
I
did
did
he
not.
say?
So he's picking a fight with Jordan Peterson after Joe
No.
Rogan now?
No. He tweeted out that he had Jordan Peterson on, years ago on his podcast or whatever, and he went ahead and deleted those 2 videos because he didn't realize
brave.
how he was like, alt-right pipeline, misinformation, yada yada. It's like, okay. Funnily enough, he still has the iDubbbz podcast up on his channel.
Hold on.
Mhm.
Okay, at this point,
And if you don't know why that's funny, you should go check it out.
I think at this point, he's got to be doing something. There's got to be like a publicity stunt. Like this is.
He's friends with Hassan now, so he's
Yeah,
trying to
well, yeah,
court
so-
Hassan's audience.
He's shooting at the largest cities and hoping they retaliate.
He's trying to become a brocialist by
Yeah.
stupiding Hassan, but the problem is there's no bottom to that particular well of stupidity.
Well,
So-
I think what we're seeing is like the proverbial unstoppable force and immovable object, only
Mhm.
when it comes to dumbassery.
You aren't going to steal Hassan's audience because Hassan's audience is extremely self-selecting. They have to be interested in one of the dumbest people on the internet and be perfectly fine with being blocked from being part of one of the dumbest people on the internet's fan base.
Well,
From that fan base.
Sanguine. Ethan did say, trust the government. Just do whatever they tell you.
Yep. And he also...
I mean, he'd fit right in.
You don't have to think about it, bro.
Yeah.
The part that's even more fucked up about this, and Actual Justice Warrior did a video on this, where he goes really in depth. Of all people, Ethan should be one of the people going, hey, you know what? Sometimes doctors don't actually know everything. Because he almost ended up starving his firstborn. I think it was his firstborn.
Yeah.
The doctors in his area were not giving him all the information that he should have been given. His wife didn't produce enough milk for the child. So while the child was feeding, and she was trying to feed the child as often as the child needed, there just wasn't a sufficient supply for the
Which
child.
happens all the time.
Yep. And that's when people go to formula.
Hmm.
But
And that's so sad. And so the pediatricians that they had didn't weigh the kid, or what?
they were going in daily because it was worrying that the child was losing weight. The child was being weighed, and the advice that they kept on getting was the child seems to be latching, that seems to be suckling, so you just need to feed the child more.
Jesus.
No one at any point going, Okay,
None
perhaps
of those
we should
doctors
do.
ever grew up on a dairy farm, is what I'm hearing.
Perhaps we should
Well, hold
do
on.
a
It
combo
was-
of natural and formula.
it was these doctors were constantly pushing, just keep going, just
Feed the child more.
feed the child more. And it wasn't benefiting the child. The child obviously wasn't getting the nutrients it needed. And
Mhm.
the thing is it's this is where it gets to the creepy part, the ghoulish part, because these are doctors who know better. You know better. You
Well, the thing
fucking know
is-
better. And you fucking sat there and let. That's just honestly, like, just hearing that.
So, in one way to defend the doctors, and another way to damn them by a different note. The thing is that the doctors are just like normal people. Doctors have blind spots by ideology when they
Yeah,
allow themselves
And they can
to.
also be corrupted. And that's
And well, this wasn't really a case of
And
corruption.
sometimes they
This was
just
a
get
case
shit
of
wrong.
Ideology. Yep, sometimes it's just wrong, but this sounds like it was most likely a case of ideology because this was in California. There is the natural's always better, and in California there is kind of this stigma of formula use for some reason. So when you have people that have that natural's always better and stigma of formula use, the chance that they're going to recommend formula just falls to the fucking floor.
Well, like I
Whereas
said, none of
if
those
you-
doctors appear to be like grow up on a dairy farm. None of them thought, hey, let's hook her up to a pump, see how much she produces.
Yeah. And all it would have taken is someone going, okay, let's see how much you produce, and or just going, okay, let's do a combo. Feed the child
it's
as
also-
much as you can and
So-
supplement with formula.
But most parents, and mind you, I don't know, maybe because she's essentially, the type of job they do, she's able to work from home and everything. I'm surprised she didn't get an actual breast pump, because that's exactly what the Camel is saying. You can
Yep.
measure yourself at home like that. You
Yep.
can tell if you're spending an hour pumping for later and nothing comes out, or a trickle comes out that barely anything, that's you're not producing.
Well, I mean,
and-
Sanguine is getting to the point of like Ethan has the ability to say doctors aren't always to be trusted, yet
Yeah.
he went completely 180 degrees the other way.
Yep.
My takeaway from that anecdote is we're not dealing with the brightest of people.
Oh yeah, that is
And
part of
it
as
goes
well.
back to my point of he's courting Hassan's audience, which they love a dummy. They've already
Yep.
proven it. And Sanguine said earlier that you can't battle with that lack of wits. And I'm thinking Ethan's pretty well armed in that.
He's giving
conflict.
it a solid college try, but there is still no bottom to that well of inanity from Hassan.
Like aside from I don't even know all the particulars of the H3H3 lawsuit that everyone was singing their praises about back in the day.
Oh, that one was actually decent. That's the thing.
Yeah,
that pisses a lot of people off.
But well,
Ethan used
I'm
to
saying
be
I don't know
decent
all the
person.
particulars about that. Like apparently, they were in the right of it. They won the suit.
Yep.
Whatever. That's great. But aside from that one thing, everything I've heard about this dude, because I haven't gone and watched. I think I've tried to watch one of his episodes, and that was with Bill Burr.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Burr looked like he was having none of it. He looked thoroughly unimpressed, like he was counting down the seconds until he could fuck off.
Oh, dude, he demolished.
So
it was bad.
everything I've heard about Ethan and H3 and whatnot has been they're just shitty people.
Yeah, the thing
Aside
is
from that lawsuit, where they that's the one time they didn't strike out.
Hold
the
on.
thing is, Ethan, when
early on they he was doing a goofy thing when
Yep.
YouTube was young, but unfortunately that's a niche. So
Yep.
you're, you know, and again, the Bill Burr interview, that was a perfect example of, dude, this guy is a professional comedian, and you're talking to him like you're a goofball YouTuber. You're not the same thing. You're not the same thing. That's like a fucking ballerina speaking to somebody who's fucking, singing in an opera. You're, yeah, you're on stage, but you're you're two different creatures. You're two cats. You're a fucking jaguar and you're a cheetah. You're both cats, but you're different.
Green Badger just went completely fucking nuclear in chat.
Who is Green Badger?
Green Badger
Outdoors.
is
Good
one of our viewers, and he brings up another point that is accurate and delightfully fucked up, so I'm going to read it out loud. Thank you for this gift, Green Badger Outdoors. Doctors can always be trusted, like Mengele.
And I responded, I prefer Kevorkian myself.
At least Kevorkian, you chose to do it.
That's why he gets the camel seal of approval.
Yeah.
Who's the doctor that has an island? Dr. Monroe?
Dr. Moreau.
Moreau.
Yeah, make monkey humans.
But yeah,
Never really trusted Brando. Sorry. I don't care if he does have an offer I can't refuse.
No, I just thought about the commercials that he did.
Another doctor that you can choose, not quite as poignant as Green Badger's choice, given Ethan and Neela's heritage.
I wasn't going to go there. That's why I try to steer it towards Kevorkian.
Yeah, but another one that clearly a doctor that you can really trust is Dr. Shipman. Are any of you familiar with Dr. Shipman?
I feel like you're going to describe some horrific scene that I actually am familiar with. I just don't know the name.
The most prolific serial killer in England's history.
It's
What was the body count?
Over 100.
The joke.
Nice.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah,
That's
Shipman has
that'll get you in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. Okay.
triple-digit body count. Let me look up his exact estimate. Dr. Harold. There we go. Dr. Harold Shipman.
Was
How
it
many
just like an
people?
angel of death, or
Yep.
did he have a? Oh, okay.
So the estimate is about 250 people.
What
That
did he do?
killed?
He was a doctor who went around getting in close with a very elderly clientele. In his later years, he didn't always choose just the elderly, but in his later years, he chose the elderly. Getting very close to them, making sure that they knew him and trusted him, was their personal doctor, was able to, in some cases, convince them to make out a new will. In other cases, forged a new will for them, listing him as the sole benefactor of their estates, and then administered lethal doses of various drugs to them. Then, also being a doctor, and these being his patients, he would be the first person to list the cause of death and sign off on all the medical documentation. Also, in all these wills, he had a request for the body to be burned as quickly as possible. So he ended up killing a massive number of people, inheriting all their money, blowing it on drug addiction and gambling debts, and then killing the next person and rinse and repeat.
I was really hoping when you said gambling debts it was going to be hookers. Like, I mean, come on,
Hookers
man.
and blow.
Hookers and blow.
Hold
Hookers
on,
and blow.
Hold on, I was thinking he said gambling debts. I'm like, shit, dude, how many scratch-off tickets did he pile up?
Gambling, not lotto, though lotto is hardly any different from Standard gambling.
When was this
Oh,
again?
Get out of here.
With like the 1800s?
No, this
When?
was like 2000s.
Oh shit! Really?
Let me quickly double check when he
This
was
place is battlegrounds.
arrested.
See, I was thinking like
was-
Gambling Dead's like like some like
Like back hall snooker or something like that.
some.
131
Yeah,
double lot.
yeah.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Then
131 double lot. So 31st of January 2000 was when he was convicted.
Wow.
Oh.
So
wow, See, I was thinking like opium dens and backroom poker games. Like holy shit, this is 2000.
yep, this
Hold
was
on,
2000.
opium dens. Well, wait, so we got some like Chinese dudes.
Well, he
laying
said
on
gambling and
couches,
drug
smoking
addiction. I was
opium.
thinking, like
And
most
then
prolific. England's
In
been
front
around
of
for a
them, there's,
while.
like, these black dudes that are rolling dice and shit. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, I went there.
But yeah, he
Let's get a
was
strike.
known as Dr. Death. And people in the village that he worked noticed that there were a shit ton of people dropping dead around him to the point where the old women that were his clientele started joking about how someone was looking rather poor and they could go even poorer if they went to Dr. Shipman, while they were still going to Dr. Shipman for their own medical care.
I take umbrage with him being called Dr. Death. Okay, you said over 100, like confirmed.
It was
Kevorkian was known as Dr. Death, and he had at least 130.
It was 250s, the best estimate.
Best estimate.
Kevorkian had 250?
No, 250 is the best estimate for Shipman.
Shipment?
was-
Wait, what do you mean?
The English.
The doctor that we've been talking about here for a moment.
Oh, no, I thought you said shipment, like he had 250 shipped to.
He thought you said shipment.
Oh, Shipment. No. Dr. Shipman had best estimate about 250
Good God.
that he killed. He was convicted on 15 counts, which was enough to get him several lifetimes in prison, and he died 4 years after being convicted. But yeah, one of the most, if not the most prolific, not shipment, god damn it, shipmen.
Dude, the name is goofy. Get out of here.
Oh my God. Do you see what Mr. Scott's saying? There's a Pakistani doctor in Nebraska in the 2000s that was reusing needles and gave over 100 people hepatitis.
Yep.
How expensive are needles? I know they're not expensive.
Yep.
He said then there was a pharmacist dealing opiates in Nebraska that robbed his competition and burned down his business.
That's
See-
more straightforward, at least, okay?
And I've been
That's
saying
fine. Don't
I've
give
been
people
saying
hepatitis.
for a while. I wonder how many pharmacy lootings are happening in California where it's just a pharmacist from a local area coming across, stealing as much shit as they can in several goes of it, and then just adding it to their own store's supply.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I've been wondering that about, have dispensaries been getting knocked over in California? And how many just standard weed dealers are knocking over a dispensary and then selling the product to go knock over the dispensary again once it gets a new shipment?
Well, I mean, I imagine that dispensaries in California, they've been around for a while. Like, they've been operating, where it's, semi-legal or, on the state level and fully legal now. And
Yeah,
then
but
still federally illegal for decades at this point. So I imagine they've taken their security and whatnot seriously.
Yeah, but the thing is that they are having an ever-shrinking clientele because the California laws are encouraging a black market that is cheaper than buying it legally.
I'm not saying that they're not getting run out of business. I'm not saying that they wouldn't be desperate enough to try and knock each other over. I'm just saying, like, that wouldn't be my first choice because, you know, security would be the first thing I'd thought of if I was opening a dispensary.
Mhm.
How can I
Oh,
make sure I'm not going to get ripped off?
Shall I quickly dive into one of the articles that I brought up earlier when I mentioned a few things that just make me go, what the fuck? And this
Sure.
connects rather nicely to our mentioning of the Confederacy earlier.
Okay.
So, the National Republic, I think, is the name of this rag. Let me quickly double check. It is the New Republic. Sorry, New Republic is the name of this rag. On non-citizen voting, New York City blazes another trail. Most people don't know it, but there is a long history in this country of non-citizen voting. Even the Confederacy embraced it. Non-citizen voting is not new, but it is a new frontier in the fight for democracy. Spurred by advocates, a progressive city council in New York City passed a law to allow green card holders and immigrants with work authorization to vote in the city's elections. That means New Yorkers who are living and working with permission of the federal government can vote for their 3 citywide offices: the mayor, the comptroller, and the public advocate, as well as their city council member. Republicans in New York have now filed a lawsuit demanding that the law be struck down under the New York State Constitution, while conservatives nationwide are sounding the alarm at a time when Republican-controlled state legislatures are making it harder for citizens to vote, and Democrats struggle to pass national legislation to make it easier to protect people of color from discrimination. New York City is now a battleground for the direction of a rapidly diversifying country, and it matters.
Who the fuck wrote that?
New
What
York. Okay.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
If you want to chime in, you can chime in real quick, and then I'll continue.
I was just going to say,
I'll read the name at the end.
all I'm hearing so far is if they're cool with green card holders and people with work authorization voting, they're cool with voter ID, right? Because these people are going to have to produce their green cards and work authorization paperwork to cast their ballot,
No,
aren't
that's
they?
racist. New York is not the first municipality to adopt non-citizen voting, but it is the largest. In fact, New York City is so large, if it were a state, it would be the 12th largest in the nation, just behind New Jersey and ahead of Virginia. The law will make over 800 New Yorkers eligible to vote.
I'm sorry, that was 800,000?
800,000, sorry, yeah. 800,000 New Yorkers eligible to vote. Residents who, as taxpayers and workers, previously had little say over the issues, from their children's education to their garbage collection and any of the problems that need fixing. New York City is also a trendsetter. Just look at the universal pre-kindergarten and its prominence in President Biden's Build Back Better package. New York instituted universal pre-K in 2015. It is critical that the Senate take up the 2 House-approved federal voting rights bills, the Freedom to Vote Act to protect mail-in and absentee balloting, and the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act, which restores long-standing civil rights protections in states with histories of discriminating against black voters in the South. Non-citizen voting in local elections will not advance these critical democratic protections, nor does New York City's law have a bearing on state or federal elections, only city elections. Non-citizen voting is a proactive step to expand voting for residents whom the political right have been vilifying without evidence as fraudulent voters. Donald Trump lied about millions of immigrants unlawfully voting in 2016 as the explanation for Hillary Clinton's substantial popular vote victory. As president, he created a witch hunt of an advisory commission to find this voter fraud, which crashed and burned in less than a year. But we witnessed on January 6th of last year the right's big lie of voter fraud that Trump spent years championing has been adopted by as much as a third of the nation, which also believes violence may be justified. Trump's speech that day was laced with xenophobia. He said, "Our country has been under siege for a long time. You're the real people. You're the people that built this nation." The beginnings of an antidote, in addition to protecting our lawful right to vote, particularly in communities of color, is also to expand who we see as us, as part of our communities, as having a right to identify our problems and shape our solutions by selecting who leads us. It's not the first immigrant voting law in New York or elsewhere. For 40 years in New York City, immigrants with green cards and work authorizations could vote in school board elections until school boards were disbanded in 2003. There are also 11 municipalities in Maryland and 2 in Vermont that allow non-citizen voting. San Francisco allows non-citizen voting in its school board elections. Moreover, it would probably surprise most people to learn that it's an old tradition with a long history in this country of what was once called alien suffrage. Between 1776 and 1926, 40 states and territories allowed non-citizens to vote in state, local, and even some federal elections. It was considered good policy to attract foreign workers, specifically white men, to labor in the frontier. Even the Confederacy, which at first feared alien suffrage would swell the ranks of abolitionist immigrants, succumbed to immigrant voting to attract workers after the Civil War. So
Can I veto this horse shit,
Yeah.
please?
I just
I mean,
have to point out something.
Their argument is that, hey, white guys and the Confederacy were in favor of it. You should be too. We used to do this all the time. This is American tradition.
Also,
So much so that even the slaveholders did it. We should all do it.
Point
Fuck
out
off.
something amusing as fuck, because they said even the Confederacy, which at first feared alien suffrage, would swell the ranks of abolitionist immigrants, succumb to the immigrant voting to attract workers after the Civil War. The Confederacy was after the Civil War?
Also, like, they're holding up New York City, Vermont, municipalities in Maryland, and San Francisco. New York and San Francisco, if you're trying to sell me on a public policy, those are not 2 examples you want to hold up.
Yeah. And
Because the area I live in, nothing like those places. You know, population-wise, culturally, nothing like that. If I wanted to live like in New York or San Francisco, I'd move to New York and or San Francisco. I'm keeping my ass right where it's at because I want no part of that bullshit.
Earlier question, Sora. Maya Wiley is the author of this particular bit of drivel.
I wonder if Maya Wiley would be on board if like a bunch of white dudes started like immigrating into Mexico and like just taking over local elections. You know, like a bunch of white dudes from Texas just move into northern Mexico, start taking the country one mayor's race at a time. Would that be cool?
It's the thing that
No.
I am just absolutely fucking gobsmacked that in order to sell this absolute horseshit, because there were cases of illegal immigrants voting in previous elections. It was done illegally, so people didn't want it to happen. I mean, it was a thing that was kind of commonly known but also really frowned upon that both Lincoln and his opponent were paying Irish immigrants fresh off the boat in beer and whiskey to vote for them, and just having them come in, get their beer and whiskey, give them a new hat, new coat, send them back out to vote again.
So, this Maya Wiley, she's a rules for thee, not for me type of person.
Well, she reminds there's a French chick that wrote an article about living in the U.S. and not being able to vote, and it's like, yeah,
Yep.
it's because you're not a citizen of the U.S. Go vote in France. Fuck off.
So this is some of her hypocrisies or alleged hypocrisies. She was part of de Blasio's administration.
Yep.
She put her own kids in selective city schools.
Yep.
And an elite private one, despite campaigning against racist academic screens, making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year as a career. And this is from a New York Post article. Career activist and lawyer for de Blasio, living in multi-million-dollar homes in an exclusive area of Brooklyn with private security, and then advocating to defund NYPD.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes around crying, "Oh, it was it started from the bottom. Now we're here." But just like Drake, yeah, no, there was no real bottom. She didn't start anywhere.
What, you mean growing up in one of the richest neighborhoods isn't starting from the bottom?
No.
What if it's one of the richest neighborhoods in Canada? Because isn't that where Drake's from?
Yeah, well, he
Drake
ended
on a
up.
TV show?
They were born somewhere like in the smaller town, but then his mom moved into a really expensive area of the Greater
I wanna say it
Toronto
was
area.
Toronto, yeah.
Well, it's part of it's now part of the GTA, but it's a fancy area.
Okay.
But yeah, so
Well, you said his
and
mom. His mom moved into a fancy area. Where was Dad?
His dad was in jail. His dad was American, and he got caught up on drug charges a few years, when he was younger. And then he lived with his mom for quite a while.
See, I don't know anything about Drake, so like.
The dad was the black.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you leading with like, oh, his dad was an American who was in prison.
Well, they had a relationship. It just so happened that because his parents were divorced or whatever, and it so happened that for a good chunk of his childhood, his dad was in jail on possession charges or something like that. What the typical shit you get into.
Literally,
nothing horrific. Like he didn't go on a killing spree or anything. But
the only thing I know about Drake is he makes music I don't listen to, and he was on a TV show that my sister used to watch on Nickelodeon.
Yeah,
that's about it.
He has a face you want to hit with a shovel. He's creepy with young people, and he has some really bad music. And he likes to pretend that he's from the ghetto.
Okay, first of all, I don't care. I don't care how rough the neighborhood is. If it's in Canada, it's not a ghetto.
Well, I can't speak for the rest of Canada because I really can't. But I think if your small towns have areas, but I don't know. Toronto is so diverse that.
And I'm going to say that from the middle of Trailer Park, Oklahoma. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we have areas like that, but you got to go kind of far north.
I plan to go no further north than I am right now. Like it's too cold for me here, so no way I'm going to Canada. It'd have to be summertime.
But that article, when I saw that, it was just what the fuck.
I would ask Maya Wiley, like, what other country do I get to vote in if I just move there? And
yeah.
I mean, obviously, you think it's cool, like as a philosophy, right? Not just only here.
Yeah, it's kind of like this is
You're wanting to
something
spread this around to the rest of the country, right? That's why you wrote this article talking about the long traditions.
Yeah, this is something that Sora can probably back me up on. It is almost unheard of in most other countries that you can vote without having to identify yourself with an ID or anything like that. You
It's
can
so
just-
fucking weird. Like, it's weird. I'm sorry. That's for me. I can't get over that.
Yeah.
That is like, so okay. When we know, oh, an election's coming, we get a postcard in the mail
Mhm.
saying, hey, here's your voter registration. Double check that the correct information is on here. You need to take that cardstock and your photo ID, so that can be your BC ID if you don't have a driver's license, like BC ID being from my province, your
Mhm.
driver's license, your passport. Not would the passport work? That's a good question. Probably your health card. You need something that has that proves your current address on it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, but also a government ID. And yeah, if you don't need a change, perfect. You know, you just show up on polling day or go early vote, and you go up to the person and say, hi, my name is so and so. And then you have, because you're divided alphabetically, you have on the card, it says you have to go to section A, B, C, D, whatever, or it'll have a number. So polling area 6, and then they have this, usually old people who volunteer for this, they have a little printout, and like in school, they'll roll call and they'll find your name on here, they'll verify that the address that's on their piece of paper matches your ID and the voter card. It takes about like 30 seconds, and they take the thing that you're going to vote on, the piece of paper, fold it up in a certain way. Then they hand it to you with a pencil. You go in the little booth. You make your selection. You fold it, close it up. You hand it back to the person, who then tears the piece off, because there's a section to make it smaller. And then they give it back to you so you can put it. It's a weird step. Then you put it in the little thing.
Do you know the greatest amount of information that they're legally allowed to ask you in a great many parts of the U.S.?
Are you
when it
having a
comes
good
to
day?
voting? What's your name? What's your address?
Who's your daddy and what does he do?
Yeah, that is the most information that in a large part of the U.S. they're able to ask you.
Luna.
What's your name and what's your address? And it is straight up, are you lost, little child?
Oh my god, that's just mm-mm. Nah,
But
man.
remember, to ask people to have IDs for voting would be racist. To ask them to have IDs for getting an apartment, buying a home, buying a car, renting a car, getting alcohol, buying cigarettes, buying most things with a credit card at one point in time,
Going to Applebee's, you know.
opening a bank account, going to Applebee's, buying a gun, buying
Yeah.
any score of other things, getting a credit card to be able to purchase things, and going to a doctor's office. That's not racist. Having to have also get your prescription from a pharmacy. It isn't racist in any of those examples, which encompass everything else that you need to do in order to maintain homeostasis within the 21st century. But if you have to show an ID for vote, suddenly racist.
Yeah.
It would be one thing if it was the only thing that you had to show an ID for was to vote. It'd be one thing if they were going to make a type of ID that could be used for nothing other than voting.
I thought that's what the whole point of a voter registration card. Like, I had to show ID when I registered to vote.
That's specific to your area, then, because a good chunk of areas you don't need to show ID to register to vote.
Dude, you know what? If I shave my beard and mustache, I still have to fucking show my ID to get alcohol.
Yep.
I'm getting to the age now where I'm just flattered. It's like, oh, you think I'm young? Okay, here you go.
No,
See, they keep increasing the age here. So before it was like you have to prove you're 19 and over, and then you had to be like 21 to prove that you're, if you look to 21 or younger, they'll ask. And now it's like if you look 35 or 40 and under, they'll ask for ID. I'm like, this is BS. So basically, the guy
Well-
could think I'm 40 and still,
Well, no. Here's the thing,
And-
Sora. Here's the thing. As somebody who's had to check IDs for booze and tobacco,
Mhm.
and who's tested people who were supposed to check IDs for booze and tobacco, I can tell you it's not because it's purely to cover your own ass. If
Sure.
CYA.
if somebody comes in to test you and you don't pass, that's like $1,000 fine, and your company could lose its liquor license.
Yeah,
But-
here it's I saw it.
I had
like
I had
$650, I think.
Yeah. Well, see, like the person who sells it, they can get up to $1,000 fine, lose their liquor license, which means they can't sell booze. The company could lose its liquor license for that location. It costs a lot of money when you lose that. But I had a customer, and one night I had a guy come in, try to buy like a 12-pack of whatever light beer was available. And I would imagine like this is what Sanguine kind of looks like. Is a tall, broad-shouldered, bushy beard. Like this is a stout fella. And I'm thinking like this guy's like oil field worker, probably in his 30s, something like that. 19-year-old kid. Age
Holy
is 20. Age is 21.
Nice.
And then within an hour of me carding that guy and
And you cut
a
out
fine and whatnot, woman comes in, and I'm thinking like she can't be 19, 20 tops, right? Probably 18. And she goes to, she gets her like a little 6-pack of, Smirnoff or whatnot, comes up to the register, wants to get a pack of cigarettes. I ID this chick. She was like 37.
So was she Asian or Russian?
No, no idea. But I was like, wow, okay. You're twice as old as I thought you was. Well done, ma'am.
Because both Asians and Russians have two different aging cycles. They either hit about the age of 18 and they stay about 18 until they're like 50 or 60 and then they go immediately to babushka. Or they hit about the age of 30 and they just skip immediately to babushka. Those are the only two aging patterns, it seems. I don't know why those are the two aging patterns, but those are the two aging patterns.
I like that babushka is a pattern.
Everyone
Because I
knows
mean-
what you mean when you say
Yeah,
it.
I know. I
Mhm.
know it. I immediately have the image in my head. And she's like, yes.
Yeah,
Potato
you're suddenly
soup.
3'0"
Yeah.
with like
A
a
scarf
damn
on
near
your head and shit.
hunchback, a scarf wrapped around your head, and about
Oh, shit.
300 pounds.
Yes. And you know what? I'm all for it. That's a happy life at the end. Because she's still sitting there fixing your shit while you're sitting in
Yep.
bed with all the other grandpa and grandpas. Grandma and grandpas.
Wait, did you just become one of fucking Charlie's grandparents?
No.
Are you the shit that's faking being bedridden?
Hold on. Are you saying that babushkas are bedridden?
No, I'm saying that Charlie's grandfather was faking being bedridden.
Oh yeah. Well, that's
It's magic.
He was faking being bedridden.
No.
He just didn't want to work anymore.
He had
So-
a bite of chocolate, of Willy Wonka's chocolate, and it revitalized his legs.
Nah, he's just a shit that wanted to chill at home.
Hold on. So maybe the chocolate had some cocaine in it. and it gave him just a pep in the step.
And also, to bring up something that Assassin the Grey said earlier, also the fact that the people that say that using or demanding that people show ID when voting is racist are also the same people that want you to have a special ID in order to leave your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, how does that work? Like, how do they? I get like, how do people look at that and be like, oh yeah, no, that's normal, that's okay.
Yeah, this is what I was saying earlier, that their policies are all internally inconsistent. These are the people that say all cops are racist.
Mm-hmm.
Cops should be the only ones that are allowed to have guns.
Yeah.
All white people are racist. We live in a country that is predominantly white as an absolute majority, not just a plurality, but an absolute majority of the country is white. We need to have a direct democracy. It would be racist to have people show ID in order to vote. You need to show a special type of ID in order to be able to even leave your fucking home.
Or buy food or gas.
Buy food, buy gas, have a job. Like I said, I named a score of different things that you have to have an ID to do. I think I forgot to mention, you have to have an ID in order to have a fucking job. Because part of the onboarding process at every goddamn job I've ever had was, okay, hand us your ID and your social security card. We need to make copies of this for HR records.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, maybe eventually this leads into the 3 seashells, and we'll figure out exactly
What they
how
finally
work.
mean.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe that's the light at the end of the tunnel.
I am already too old for that shit.
Do you
Hey.
really want to find out how those are used?
Nope.
One scoops it, and like,
One scoops, one scrapes, and one wipes away.
whoa, you have a whole poem going. It's like-
See,
Yeah,
I was figuring that
crochet
one
or
of them would
whatever.
effectively be a manual douche. You just fill it up with water and splash.
Well, hold on. You know what?
But
Considering
then how
that-
do you use
Okay.
another one to dry?
Well, no. Considering
Like a
that,
fan.
You
considering
don't.
that
You just
they
wave your
have
ass
a-
around until it's good.
Considering that they have a Asian aesthetic, I would assume that they took up the bidet. So, I would think that the shells are something like a perfume or like an after thing. The toilet cleans your ass, and then the shells are something like for super duper cleanliness.
Man, now that just reminded me of the Japanese toilet that functionally had a ball wash.
It's not fun.
Wait, you know this from experience, Adam?
It's not fun.
Wait, when did you experience the Japanese toilet with a ball wash?
We'll have a chat about that in a different private.
Because yeah, I went to Japan when I was in college, and just in the hotel that I was in, it was a very nice hotel. It was one of the ones that I stayed in was a Japanese style, one of them was a European style. But in one of the hotels, they had this ridiculous toilet that had a shit ton of buttons.
Mhm.
All the buttons were labeled, none of them in English.
Of course not.
So Of course, being curious, I hit all the buttons in turn to figure out what each one did. And some of them, well, like one of them was to heat the toilet seat, one of them was to cool the toilet seat. One of them was the bidet, as everyone's expecting. One of them was effectively a fan after the bidet.
To dry you.
Yes, it was heated air.
Very civilized. I like that.
One of them was a ball wash, effectively. Though I'm willing to bet for women it becomes a femme wash.
Mm. I'm assuming it's that's probably its initial use.
Yeah, but not when it's a guy sitting on it going, what does this button do? Ooh!
Like, whoa, that's refreshing.
Yeah, just started hitting all the buttons, and each one did different things. One of them was to act. One of the buttons activated the sound of running water.
Wait, just the sound of running water?
Yep, just the sound of running water.
Wait, it played it like they had speakers on the side of the toilet and they played running water?
It played the sound of running water.
What?
I'm guessing it's to help you piss if you need, or to mask the sound of you.
The sound, yeah.
One of them just started playing really nice, soft classical music.
Wait, the sound of what?
Water. You don't want to.
The sound of you going.
Going what?
The toilet.
Shit or piss.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of them was just like really nice, soft classical music.
Hold on. I hate to say it because you know what? I'm not gonna hate to say it because let's just break the wall, okay? Because you were painting it as a nice fantasy. You're sitting on the toilet. All of a sudden, you know, fairies and waterfalls sound as you're making. You know what? When I sit on the toilet, the biggest thing is I take it. It's a big ass fart, right? And you know what? I'll go a step further and just as a little interlude, right?
So what you're saying
wait,
is
hold
you
on,
need
hold
a
on.
press section button.
Hold on. Are we live?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Well,
All I'm going to say about this is I spend too much time on Twitter as it is. I don't need that much comfort when I'm on the toilet. My legs are already falling asleep. I don't.
Ew. Hold on. Talk about comfort. You ever see those people who have those like fuzzy things that sit on the ring of the toilet?
Oh, gross. Yeah.
Those
Hold
are
on.
hygienic.
But yeah, I don't think I need like sound effects as I'm, you know, pinching a loaf. I mean that's my. Wow. Yeah. That you know
Come
what?
on, you don't want to listen to peaceful mountain stream or pleasant classical music?
Yeah, don't you?
No.
Yes, I saw you say that it was a bidet control assassin. So we are keeping an eye on it. But we were also saying that at about the same time as that message came through.
Oh, bidet.
But yeah, it was a very just, what the hell? What do all these buttons do? And I found out.
Always fun.
Like I said, the dry cycle was amusing. The fact that they built in a drying cycle.
Well,
Because
you
that
do,
was
of course you
not
need a
something
drying
else.
cycle.
Yeah, and they were kind
Around
enough
with
not.
soggy bum.
How do
They
you
were
think that?
kind enough to have a dry cycle for both sides, so that after you do the bowl wash, you could get a drying cycle for your bowls, as well as
Hey,
they had a
Mimi.
drying cycle for the back. I really want to go back to Japan.
Like,
Japan was fun.
we've gone from public Roman toilets where people are just sitting there in a U shape, just all taking shits together, and then in the future we're gonna have robots that go down there and clean your butthole and your ball sack. And,
I would hope it's a
life
robot. I
is
don't
good,
want to.
so me
It would be
so
stranger
far.
if it was just a person.
Well, yeah, nobody wants a person doing that. I mean,
Well,
it's like
you
a
know.
ball shine guy.
I definitely don't want a ball shine guy. That's not my personal taste.
Well, there's
Don't
not
be a
a lot
bigot.
Are you telling me I shouldn't ask their pronouns first?
Exactly. They should tell you first, or you should know it instinctively, you know?
instinctively.
And if you're wrong, you're kind of firing squad.
Yeah, you don't want to get that wrong while they currently have your bollocks in their hand.
Mm.
Well, to be honest, you have my full attention if you have my balls in your hand.
But yeah, like I said, I want to go back to Japan. Japan was fun. Also, did you guys hear that Japan has been effectively the first country to go, you know what? Fuck all this. We're just going to stop.
I mean, I remember there was some. We had some Japanese exchange students when I was in college. I was like, if I'm gonna, I had a list back then of like much longer places I want to go see. The UK, Australia, whatnot. I was like, Japan still actually managed to stay on the list. Yeah, like I'd get on a plane for that.
Yeah, Japan is fun as hell. The food is amazing. Especially, I highly recommend getting yakiniku.
Since Nana Camel, I've been watching a bunch of classic TV. Like I'm like BA, man. I don't want to get on no plane.
Mm-hmm. And Mr. Scott, yeah, there has been some rumbling within Japan that they are considering expanding their Japanese Defense Force, at the very least, the JFD, as well as, well, if the West is doing what the West is doing, maybe we need a military because China's right there.
Yeah.
And they fucking hate us.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I don't mind that. And like I said, Japan's really cool. And Japan is not the same as it was when it came to wartime Japan.
Yeah, I had one of those Japanese exchange students. He's a cool dude. He was in my intro to philosophy class, and he was on the same floor at the dorms as I was.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really cool guy. He and I would hang out. We're the only two people like in the whole dormitory that smoked menthol cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if I ran out, I could go bum one off of him. He could come bum one off of me. He that intro to philosophy class stuck with me because they were talking about morals and ethics, and this is back in my drinking days. So like, that was one of those classes. Like, that was the first one I was actually like semi-conscious for because it was around noontime.
So just long enough after your previous drinks that they're leaving your system, but before your next round of drinks enters.
Yeah. Had another buddy. He thought it was hilarious that I would be so hungover for that class, so he would come and beat on my door like the police, trying to get me up to go to that class to see what kind of stupid shit would come out of my mouth.
Nice friend.
Oh, it was entertainment for him, yeah. But they were talking about morals and ethics, and somehow the dropping of the atomic bomb got brought up because they just had to go from like one thing to another. Like, they couldn't. This was a class discussion, not like teacher led.
Yep.
So,
and there's always some cunt that wants to say that we were wrong and evil for dropping the nukes.
Well, yeah, like, so somebody brings up the dropping of the atomic bombs, and like heads all kind of turn towards him, like, You know, he's the only Japanese dude in the class. It's like all eyes are on him, like to see how he's going to react. All he does is just look around and says, "I'm sorry." You know, it's like I'm like, dude, I don't think you're the one who needs to be apologizing here. I mean,
See, the thing is, and I just have to comment real quick because you said buddy a good chunk of times, and then Mr. Scott said burn buddies, and every time I hear the word buddy, because both parents were Marines, there's a phrase that pops into my mind immediately after hearing it, which is friends are friends and pals are pals, but buddies sleep together. So the thing that always drives me crazy about we dropped the nukes. Can you imagine how evil that? Do you know how many lives that saved?
oh no, I was just saying, it's like, you know, like this guy personally didn't need to apologize.
Yeah, I know.
Like, if anything, he
what
should
you
have
were
gotten an
saying.
apology for this asshole being, you know, bringing this up.
I get what you're saying. I'm just,
Yeah.
it drives me crazy every time I hear that because I'm going, do you know how many fucking lives? Yeah, it was what, like 200,000 died?
I mean,
Versus.
was that combined Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Or was
think-
that?
It was. I can't remember if it was just the larger of the two cities, it was 200,000, or if that was the combined of the two. But
I want to say that was like the larger of the two. I think that was the first one they dropped, wasn't it? Wasn't it Hiroshima? And then a couple days later, Nagasaki.
I think so. I always mix up which one was first.
Yes,
But-
Mr. Scott. I got what you were saying. Like he misread it, but I was not going to bring anything up. He said bum buddies, not
Yes,
burn
it
buddies.
is bum buddies, not burn buddies.
Because he and I would bum cigarettes off of each other.
Which it works even better with the friends are friends and pals. You sleep together when you're talking about bum buddies.
Oh, well, I would definitely be the big spoon in that equation.
Okay. So it's a drop in the bucket compared to the best case estimates for the number of dead for island hopping, which those were the two options. It was either we drop the bombs and maybe that'll force them to capitulate, or we go on island hopping invasions. There was no third option because Japan had made no sign of having any sort of interest in surrender. And we couldn't just go, well, we'll leave you be, Japan. No. This war was going to end, so we had two options. Come up with something that would force a capitulation, or take the entire fucking thing inch by blood-soaked inch. We chose the former. We dropped the bombs. And we warned before we dropped the bombs. We had a bunch of potential targets that we were thinking of dropping the bombs on. We dropped a shit ton of leaflets saying, we've developed the most deadly weapon known to man. Fucking get out of the city. The next night, we dropped the bomb. The following day, we started dropping leaflets saying, we've developed the most dangerous weapon known to man. We dropped it on this city. If you don't believe us, find out what happened to this city. Surrender. We have more. And the Japanese didn't surrender. So we dropped a bunch of warnings again, saying, get the fuck out. Next night, we dropped the goddamn bomb. And we went, we have more. We didn't, but we said, we have more. Do you really want to keep this shit up? We can go city to city and wipe you out. Surrender. And the Japanese surrendered, saving millions of lives. I think the low-end estimates put it at like 1 million US dead, and then several million Japanese. And the high-end estimates, because the Japanese had two-hand at that time on the Japanese islands, something like 11 million troops and people eligible for conscription.
Hmm.
If you included the rest of the land that they held, they had closer to 20 something million. So the high end estimate would be a few million US troops and 20 something million Japanese and Japanese conscripted. The bomb was the better option. And it saved lives. But it is that time, and it sounds like we're fairly well wound down.
Yeah.
And with that beautiful lullaby of
The bombs were
the
good.
bomb over Japan.
The bombs were good. Love the bomb. Who wants to go first for their parting words?
You know what I'm gonna say? Have fun. Because what's the point of living having fun? And I have a video come out Sunday, so keep an eye out for that.
Nice. Then let's go Adam next up.
Well, hey, thanks again for letting me join up.
Always fun.
And I enjoyed chatting with the panel. And as for the audience, I love you all, and God bless.
And let's go Camel next.
I got nothing really. I guess I'll just recycle one that I've used before. Some old pilot's wisdom. The only time you have too much fuel is when you're on fire.
Nice. And then
I
Sora.
like that. I will leave you with a word that I recently learned. Pooforia.
Is that
Okay.
Apparently,
euphoria
it's-
caused by taking a shit?
That is so large and so satisfying. It feels like heaven's gates are opening before you.
Huh.
Well, if they're opening before you, you're on the wrong side of that.
Okay.
On those notes, I'll mix things up, and since Camel mentioned fire, I'll leave off with one of my favorite lines of, if you give a man a fire, he's warm until that fire burns out. If you set a man on fire, he's warm for the rest of his life.
True.
And with that, have a good night, all. The zoo is
Good
closed.
night.
Have fun.
Bye, everybody.
Say good night, Adam.
Good night,
Night,
Adam.
Hey, that was my line.